Ogden, Utah is a quiet city with a population of less than 100,000 people and located just north of Salt Lake City, Utah. Boasting a historic district once home to Prohibition-era speakeasies, it's now a shopping and dining hub, primarily due to Ogden being a gateway to some of Utah's finest ski resorts. However, with a rich history comes some unsavory realities. In the evening of August 16, 2018, one of those twisted tales transpired. That night, two men went into a wooded area near the 20th Street Pond, which had become a homeless encampment with the intention of, quote, harassing homeless people. Around 3 a.m., a gunshot rang through the woods, causing nearly everyone in the vicinity to scatter. One of the people who heard that shot was an Ogden police officer who happened to be parked close by. Close enough, in fact, to notice those same two men running towards a truck, with one of them holding something in their hands. A stop was initiated on 17th Street, and the men in the truck were now identified. The driver, Dalton Aiken, and his passenger, Cory Fitzwater, were both arrested after a search of Aiken's truck found a small amount of flour and, more importantly, an unregistered firearm. They were separated at the scene and were brought to the Weber County Police Department for further questioning. At the same time that they were being transported, officers searched the area where they thought the gunshot came from. Deep within the park, they noticed a dying campfire and the dimly lit tent next to it. It was also here that they discovered Brian Racine, deceased from a gunshot wound to his head. This is the interrogation of Dalton Aiken.
No, I'm okay on that. Okay. So, got a few things I would like to quickly talk to you about. You are obviously in custody, so gotta do the Miranda before I can do that for you, okay? Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
Yes.
Having these rights in mind, you wish to talk to us now.
Talk to you?
As the interview begins, Dalton's attempts to misdirect the investigators doesn't fall far behind. Dalton's first tactic is to feign ignorance about nearly everything. It's important to note that this isn't Dalton's first encounter with the law and had previously been arrested for assault and drug charges. Throughout the interview, Dalton will inadvertently display nonverbal signs that show deception. Dalton will try his best to avoid incriminating himself verbally, but his body language will tell investigators the complete opposite. Here, Dalton is leaning forward, seemingly fully engaged with the detective in front of him. Dalton will maintain direct eye contact, but at the same time, during intervals where we would naturally glance at our surroundings, Dalton maintains his gaze. While not an immediate sign of deception, this seemingly small, nonverbal behavior is the first of many that hint towards it. Taken alone, no single behavior can indicate deception. However, in body language analysis, clusters of behavior starts to give clues to the potential areas of deception.
Yeah, me and detective.
Yeah, I got nothing wrong with that.
We're simply looking to get your side of the story, what's going on here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's it,
We haven't heard what you guys say yet.
I can't do that till we get through that part, so. Let's just start off. What will you tell me about what was going on this morning?
Let's see. I got pulled over and I had marijuana.
Okay.
Dalton was arrested for possession just a few hours before this interview, but not just for pot. He was also the driver of a vehicle that police found an unregistered firearm in. Dalton glances over this in an attempt, albeit a poor attempt, to downplay his involvement in his situation.
What about before the traffic stop? What were you doing?
Oh, we were walking at the park.
By the park, you mean like the pond and the trail and all that?
Yeah, what do they call it? The old Indian place where the rivers meet.
Familiar with that. Is that a fancy term? Do you know what?
Yeah, it's right there where the Ogden and the Weaver River meet. But you're on that whole trail complex that's back there behind the one you went in. I think I know where you went in, to where you go across the bridge and the trail goes up and down both ways, right? Okay.
Yeah, so let's see. So if you cross that main bridge at the parking lot, and then you just kind of keep going straight-ish, and then it curves to the right.
Yeah, right there where the two rivers come together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you were with, who were you walking with?
Cory Fitzwater.
Is he family, friend?
Yep, family friend, exactly.
There we go. What time do you think you guys got out there?
Oh, it was late. We just got done busting up concrete for his neighbor with the sledgehammer. So we were kind of having a good time, you know. But I think it was 2 to 3.
Okay. Somewhere.
We're talking AM, right?
You guys working that late busting concrete too?
Well, we only busted concrete till about 12. They had it jacked up and they were trying to bust it, and it just would bust off a little piece every time. So we just started going to town, and it just all went.
It's good therapy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the neighbor? Where does that live at?
The what?
Where was that at? You guys doing concrete?
So it'd be kitty corner in his backyard.
The word just so neighbor. It's neighbor of Cory's.
Yes.
Where does Cory live at?
By Hoagie's.
Oh. Okay, so you guys are busting concrete. I'm not gonna. So, what I'm talking to you about, I'm not worried about the marijuana or none of that. Okay, so that's all I'm interviewing for. So you guys break concrete. You guys normally go to the river to. So I'm assuming happens go there for you to drink beer, smoke a blunt, and watch.
Exactly.
It's beautiful out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you guys normally do? Like
No.
a regular thing for you?
Nah. We usually just hang out.
How far did you guys walk around the trail?
I think I had the freeway in sights, at least. Like when you take that turn off in the distance, you can see the freeway.
Do you guys see anybody else on the trails or?
Yeah, done.
This is one of the first of many eye rubs to come. The detectives waste little to no time getting to the reason behind their questioning. When they ask if there was anyone else that they came across on the trail, Dalton's stress is nearly immediately visible. Some studies have suggested that psychological stress can increase eye pressure. The relationship is not known, though it may be that certain hormones and chemicals released during the times of stress can affect receptors in the eye. One of the most common ways to relieve the stress is through simple eye movement, which we'll now start to see in Dalton's behavior.
Are there late night revelers or transients or what?
Campfires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I would assume transients.
Right. And forgive me, I think he knows this area better than I do. So you guys park in the direction, so when you first say you're walking, are you going east, north? How does that trail split off? You can.
Yeah, so it'd go, let's see, that would be south, and then it heads to the west.
Okay. So, and how long, so you guys get there, you think around 2 to 3?
Yeah.
How long do you think you guys are out there for?
Enough to smoke a little, basically.
Sure. An hour, half hour? I know it's hard to tell time, but
Half hour.
Did you guys hear any commotion or anything out there?
Well, I kind of have a feeling that I know what you guys are after. Like, did someone get killed? I mean, so I heard a gunshot. For sure. So, I'm starting towards the west. I know, we're by the fence, like, you're able to cross it, you're able to cross it, go down there. No, he's not there, cross it.
What did you see, hear, smell after the gunshot?
Nothing. Yeah, just it.
What did you guys do?
Well, we're kind of country. I guess we didn't even pay no mind to it, to tell you the truth.
Dalton admits that he had heard a gunshot and asks if someone had passed away as a result. When detectives press him about what his reaction was to hearing the gunshot, Dalton says, "We're kind of country. We didn't pay no mind to it." At this point in the investigation, Dalton is unaware that the police officer who stopped him and Cory saw them run to the truck right after the discharge. Furthermore, he is also unaware that the same officers saw Dalton fumbling with a gun at the same time, and to make matters even worse for him, that Cory has already given a statement stating that the pair didn't hear any sort of firearm discharge.
I thought it was weird so late, but yeah.
Did you guys just continue on your way? Did you start?
No, sorry, I missed it.
So did you guys continue just walking the direction you're going? You guys?
Yeah, we turned around about when you hit that fence with the voltage, and you can see the freeway.
Okay.
Just walk back.
When you say by that fence, does that mean you were by the fence, or that's where you heard the shot?
I was by the fence.
You was by the shot.
Yeah.
Where did you hear the shot at?
If I had to pinpoint the shot, would it came from? Oh, what's that business? The mechanical place, HVAC place, Mountain Valley Mechanical. I bet that's, I think, where.
What direction is that from where you're at?
Let's see. It's right on that hard turn where it says 15 miles an hour. That's where I think it probably was.
Okay.
Because that's where that Rocky Mountain Mechanical is.
So you say you were by the vinyl fence and you heard it by the hard turn. So you think it was to the north of you then?
Let's see. So, yes, exactly. Yep. Yep.
And so how much longer so you hear the shot, you guys finish whatever you're doing to get back to the car, how long do you think that took?
20 for the hike back. Probably not even that. Pretty close.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to be exact out there.
Yeah.
And then you guys immediately got in the car, started and left, or did you guys hang around in the parking lot for a little bit?
No, we just left, got pulled over real quick. Didn't take long.
Did you guys go into any of the camps while you were down there?
Like the homeless people? No, we actually never came face to face with any of them. Just there's a time.
Just through the fires? Do you know any homeless people that live out there?
I do not. Sometimes I kind of look like it.
All right. So next question I have for you is the firearm that they found you with, that was 6 hours, is that right?
The what?
The gun you had in your car?
Uh-huh.
Where did you get that?
I'm sorry, I missed it again. The what?
The gun you had in your car?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you get that?
So that's Cory's.
Okay.
A classic sign of deception. Asking for a question to be repeated when there was almost no chance for that question to be misheard. Dalton asked the investigator to repeat his question in a frantic effort to buy himself a few more seconds. He needs just a little bit more time to try to come up with a seemingly believable answer. His rather chipper response to confirming the existence of said gun is another attempt at misdirection. Dalton is trying his hardest to make the gun seem like no big deal, that its presence in his vehicle wasn't even an issue, because it's Cory's, right? Dalton hit 2 birds with 1 stone here, because he is not only downplaying his knowledge of the criminality behind a firearm being in his vehicle, he also states that the gun belongs to Cory. This is now the beginning of Dalton completely placing any and all blame on Cory.
Do you know how long Cory's had it for?
No clue.
Did you guys take that with you when you were doing your walk?
No, I had some bullets in my pocket from earlier, but so we were shooting it earlier, but we didn't take it on the walk.
Where were you guys shooting at?
West Warren. His parents in-law have a pretty good pad out there. Just lots of country, just
Oh yeah,
freaking
good at your targets.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Was Cory's gun, was it Cory's ammo too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually tried, we were going to make a trade. I took him my Universal, 30 caliber carbine Universal. So, we were just on a gun kick, kind of on a trading thing.
You're going to trade the carbine for the...
I was thinking about it, but he never could talk me into it, because it's my uncle's that made, there's a PT Cruiser that's so fancy at Frightmares in Lagoon.
I've got kids, I should go down there, but I don't.
But he built it, so it's kind of close to me.
Yeah, sentimental value then.
Yeah.
So you guys ever went any camps down there? You don't know any...
Dalton's body language has drastically shifted. When the interview first started, Dalton physically positioned himself in a way that comes across, at its surface, well-meaning and open to discussion. As the detectives ask more and more questions about the firearm, Cory, and the events, Dalton starts to cross his arms on a more and more regular basis, leaning back and averting his gaze. These behaviors can show a multitude of things, but as mentioned earlier, no single behavior can indicate deception. When the behaviors are analyzed all together and in context, hints of the truth are revealed. In this instance, Dalton is non-verbally closing himself off from investigators, either as a response to being or feeling threatened, or out of fear for what is happening.
Were you and Cory together the whole time? Did you guys ever break up to go take a leak or for anything?
I guess there was a few leak breaks, probably. Yeah. But no, we were pretty much together.
So, when you guys were separated for whatever, going to take a urinate or whatever, did Cory leave you? Did you leave Cory?
I think I left him once, and he left me once. I mean, not leave.
Right, out of sight.
Yeah.
To go do your business. Anything else that was going on up there that you think might have been weird or odd or struck your senses as kind of...
Yeah, the whole night, man. Like, it just gave me a bad feeling. I sure as heck showed up as a bad one.
Can I articulate that at all? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, kind of like the Holy Ghost, I guess. Just someplace you shouldn't be right then.
And the bullets you had in your pocket, those were unfired rounds?
Correct.
Like we do, you just throw 50 rounds in your pocket and goes to the wire out there?
Yeah.
What was Cory thinking about? Was he saying anything? How was Cory last night?
Yeah, he was upset. His wife was accusing him of cheating on her, which he claims for sure hasn't. But it makes him think that she is. That's what he told me. So yeah, we were venting that night for sure. I was kind of there for him.
How was Cory when he's upset? Is he calm? Does he get a little angry?
He gets a little angry, but I think it's his war stuff. His Iraq, PTSD. I think he's retired. He's retired and he's like 30 years old. He's got a Purple Heart.
Give him commends for that.
Yeah.
It sounds like it didn't come cheap, obviously. You know Cory's wife pretty well.
Yeah.
Are you married, kids? For your life? How old are you?
20, turning 28.
Still young. Still gonna enjoy it while you can. Okay, so an area of concern or question that we have. So you guys were there. How do I want to word this? We find in life, especially police work, coincidence doesn't occur a lot. Usually if things happen and they seem tied together, they're most likely tied together somehow, right? So would there be any reason why we would find a spent shell casing that matches the gun you guys had at the scene of what we're investigating?
I'm gonna come clean right now, okay?
Thank you, because the forensic evidence tells us a story. You're not helping yourself.
Okay. So Cory did leave, and that's when I heard the gunshot. And that is it, man. And that's when we left, because I knew something bad happened, but he didn't say nothing.
How did he seem after?
Calm, I guess.
Like you know, you guys have been friends for a while? Okay. So post, when you're saying he left the gunshot and after, did he seem more almost relaxed?
Yeah.
No, in this circumstance now, if what you're telling us is the truth, you're telling us you come clean, you're telling us this is the truth.
Yes. I'm telling
You need to get off any thoughts of protecting Cory.
Okay.
Okay, when we ask you questions and and things like that, well, I don't want to drag these out of you. You need to give us all the details. This is not a short story. This is a long story, right?
Okay.
So if you give a short detail like, I walked away, I heard a gunshot, I thought something bad happened. There's a lot of shit that went up before you walked away from him. There's a lot of stuff that went on after. You are thinking about you now. If you're telling us the truth, you're not protecting Cory anymore.
Right.
Because if you're not a witness, what are you?
Let's see, what would it be? A bystander? Something?
No. No, we call that in police work a suspect.
Oh, okay.
Suspect and or accomplice.
Do you want to be a suspect, an accomplice, or a witness?
Well, I didn't do anything, so I don't want to be any of those.
No, what you want to be is a witness.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't want to be an accomplice, you don't want to be a suspect, you want to be a witness.
Yeah.
Now, you have the potential to be a very good witness. Or you could be resistive and not share with us all the details, which is going to make you an accomplice. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
For
So when we ask you things, even if you don't short the answers, and also if we don't ask details and you have details, share them, because you don't want anything to do with the end result of a man dying, right?
Yes, exactly.
You understand, witness, it's a good role.
Okay.
Accomplice means you share punishment with the actor themselves. The courts don't differentiate.
Yeah.
If he shoots somebody and I'm there, and even if I know about it, and I don't do anything, I'm an accomplice and I share his prison sentence.
So
Okay.
you don't want to be that guy, right?
Correct. And I knew nothing about this.
So let's go back.
Okay.
You guys just didn't randomly be walking down a trail. He walks right and just decides to shoot somebody. There's something that led you guys to that camp.
And that's why I brought up his wife still, because I think really that's what it is, because I can't think of any reason.
Okay. Well, he wanted you to take him down there.
Yeah, who picked the spot to go?
I always knew it. Yep. Yeah, because I grew up in Marietta, Slayerville. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm saying you guys, what led you guys there?
Tonight.
We know you know the spot. What led you there last night?
Yeah, marijuana.
So were you going to buy marijuana?
No, we were smoking it.
Okay.
So the cops found my bag.
So here's the story that I'm kind of getting from you, and if this is what you're going to go with, it's not going to be good for you.
Okay.
You're going to say that you guys randomly showed up at a random spot to randomly smoke some marijuana, ran into a random camp, and shot some guy.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking what happened was there was a reason you guys went there. The guy that was there, you knew, or Cory knew.
Well,
wait.
okay.
Cory or you knew he was there. So you guys went down there to deal with that. Now I understand you not wanting to be involved in the actual process of it, but there's something that led you guys to that spot. I refuse to believe that Cory just randomly picked some guy and shot him.
Start from the truth, dude.
I'm kind of being serious. I think that's what happened. I think he literally just shot the guy. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but literally.
That's a hard sell in a court of law.
Yeah, it is.
When you're on the stand and we're trying to convince the jury that no, Dalton didn't have anything to do with this.
Oh, okay. I got you. It's his PTSD stuff. I don't think this is the first time it's happened.
Dalton continues to drive a narrative that he believes could be his ticket to freedom, that everything was Cory's doing. Dalton has completely sacrificed his friend to give himself his best chance at leaving the station without a murder charge. He says that it must be the PTSD from Cory's time in the armed services, and states that it's, quote, not the first time that happened. Dalton is trying to give the investigators a motive, any motive, for why Cory would have done something like this. Cory having problems with his partner, Cory's PTSD causing fits of anger and violence, it not being the first time that this happened. Dalton throws everything and anything to divert suspicion towards Cory. And then, Dalton seals his blame solidly. He admits that he actually was there and says that he saw Cory shoot Brian.
But I think it's something to do with that.
Okay, so what did Cory say before he shot the guy?
Nothing. Like, it was...
What made you separate from him?
He went off the trail, and I followed him.
Okay.
And he shot the guy.
So you were there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing we want to make clear, that you guys didn't separate. You saw what happened.
Yeah.
So that's helpful because to say that he randomly walks away from you and does this, he walks off the trail towards a camp.
Yeah, and I
Does
follow
he say something about going to that camp? Is he pissed off at that camp?
No, he sees it.
Okay.
But no.
So you guys walk towards this camp, and it's random. You say Cory doesn't know this guy.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy.
Yeah.
So you walk into this camp. Did they say anything to you?
I think the guy was sleeping, to tell you the truth.
So the guy's in bed sleeping. Where's he at?
On the ground.
He's sleeping on the ground?
Yeah.
Is he in a tent, under a tarp, just laying on the dirt, a sleeping bag?
Just the dirt, I think.
Okay.
I think.
So tell me, when you follow Cory to the camp, kind of tell me about the camp a little bit.
Okay. It was kind of hard to see because it was dark,
right? Yeah.
And his fire looked like it pretty much went out.
Okay.
But there was a big tent by it.
Okay.
So there's a big tent there.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you walk in, and you think he's asleep.
I don't walk in. He's asleep outside the tent. He's on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. When you walk into
Yeah.
the camp, you believe he's asleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does Cory say?
He kind of mumbles in like a drunk talk, like, how are you doing?
Cory says that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is he drunk?
Yeah, he probably was like 10 deep, probably.
10 beers?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Have you guys smoked marijuana at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got marijuana and beer in it. And you say mumble something.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Then
And to the guy.
to the guy.
Yep.
And then what?
Shot him.
Did the guy say anything to him?
I don't know. It's almost like I just didn't want. You know what I mean? And so I don't think I looked when he shot him.
Okay.
But if I had to guess, somewhere here.
Okay, so he shoots him somewhere in the upper body. Then what?
Then he takes off running, and I don't know what else to do but run too, I guess.
Okay.
Get in the truck, get pulled over.
Okay. Forensic evidence on the scene doesn't tell that story.
Okay.
The things that we can prove don't tell us that story.
Okay.
Okay.
More
There was more to it.
Okay.
So you,
I'll try.
I'm gonna quit dragging shit out
No,
of you, dude. We're good.
seriously.
You need to tell us everything.
Okay. I'm trying. I really am.
Because there's more to it. But you need to understand that when we ask you questions, a lot of times we already know what those answers are.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you and when you leave things out of the story, it makes it look bad for you. Okay. So we need to stop that.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. So, where'd you want to know? Because I thought
I want to know the truth is what I want to know, but I know what all the evidence is. I know what the forensic evidence tells us. We know a lot of this story already. I want you to tell me that story. I want you to be honest with me and be a witness to this, not a suspect.
Dalton, I just left that scene with CSI. Okay,
Yeah.
I know exactly what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said there's more to it than just
You
running
need to
away.
finish it, because a lot of the things you're telling us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I took off running. He took off running. I lost him.
Okay.
And I got to the truck and I had to wait for him for 25 minutes. I'll bet you. That's probably the part that was missing, huh?
Well,
Dalton's story has nearly completely unraveled at this point, where he admits that he ran back to the truck with Cory. However, whenever the truth seems to be breaking through, Dalton changes course and reverts back to deception. The detectives will ask what else happened between the shooting and going back to the truck. He concocts a story of Cory disappearing for nearly 25 minutes and apparently gets into a scuffle with more people, while Dalton patiently waits at the truck. Pay close attention to how Dalton announces to detectives that he just remembered something vital. Something that just happened only a few hours ago, that lasted for a significant amount of time, right after seeing his friend open fire on Brian Racine.
I wouldn't say so.
And he said he ran into more people and fought him with his fists.
Okay.
Some more stuff happened in the camp.
That was away from the camp. That was somebody else's
No, in the
camp.
He's asking you. He's making a statement to you.
More stuff happened in the camp after the shooting happened. That's what we're trying to get the truth about.
You guys didn't walk. You guys didn't walk in banging and run away. There was more to it than that.
I promise you, yeah. I really do promise you.
All right. Tell you what.
I really do.
Tell you what. We're gonna give you a few minutes to think about it.
Okay.
Now I don't want you to tell me anything that's not true.
Okay.
If you're telling me the truth, you stick to your story.
For sure.
But I don't believe your story. So
Okay.
we're going to give you a few minutes to think about how you want to proceed here. And we're going to come back in and you're going to tell us the real story of what happened out there.
Okay.
Now, if it's the story you've already told me, fine. That's going to be your version of the truth.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the evidence is going to point that that's not the truth.
Oh, man.
But I don't want you to lie to me.
Okay, I promise
Okay,
that.
give us a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we never find out what the supposed missing events are that the investigators are referring to. We can assume they're referring to something that Cory told them in his interrogation, but what we know for a fact is that the arresting officers saw them flee just after the gunshot and followed them immediately. Dalton is still unaware of this, so the only thing we can logically and reasonably conclude is that he's bridging as much time as possible to distance himself from the events as far as he can. However, again, this is just an assumption based on the things that we know after the fact.
We'll just leave that right there.
Okay.
Hey Dalton.
Hey.
Hey, we're actually going to be moving you over to Ogden City Police Department. I'm
Okay.
going to drive you over there.
Okay.
Okay? I'm Detective Haney. I work with the Sheriff's Office. I'm going to be taking you over. Since you're already been booked into Weaver County, I'll take you over there and then I'll stay there until we've answered questions and stuff at Ogden City, and then I'll bring you back.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Very good. I'll
All
meet
right.
you over there, okay?
We're going to take your sandwich too.
Awesome.
But I got to handcuff you.
Okay.
Okay, stand up.
Yeah.
You'll be able to take it in the room with you.
Put your hand behind your back. Yeah, we'll bring your sandwich. How was it?
Well, I'm having a tough time.
While the interrogation may be over at this point in 2018, things continue to spiral out of control for everyone involved. Cory would tell investigators that it was Dalton's idea to go to the encampment with the intent to harass homeless people. In recorded jailhouse calls, both men would adamantly and loudly claim that the other was responsible for the entirety of events that unfolded. Dalton had 6 unspent rounds in his pocket, which matched the one shell casing that was found next to Brian. However, both men tested positive for GSR, or gunshot residue, and both admit that they were shooting targets at a property earlier that day. Both men would continue to place the blame on the other, with Cory even going so far as to hire inmates to give statements to police that Dalton confessed the crime and saying that he was solely responsible, and that he was even braggadocious about the act. Cory Fitzwater has yet to go to trial for his role in Brian Racine's murder and is being held without bail in Weber County Jail. Dalton Aiken was convicted and sentenced to 16 years to life in prison and becomes eligible for parole in September of 2038. He remains incarcerated at the Central Utah Correctional Facility to this day.